Welcome to the process. I think I've got all of this set up. It is Wednesday, April 7th. We've got a 9-game slate ahead of us. Should be a fun one. FanDuel, sad face, dropped that contest back down to 50K. So for a brief moment, I thought we were back to 100K regularly, but it was just a single day. What are you going to do? Was nice to see an Awesemo avatar take down that 100K yesterday, so I cannot complain too much. Good morning to everybody in chat. Happy to see everybody. It's a great day. Got a lot to break down. Should be some fun. The process show, man. This is the place to be in the morning. It's a good time. We got 18 different teams to touch on. I'm tired. I'm excited to drink a little bit of coffee. We got hit with the Miles Turner injury yesterday, which hurt me quite a bit. Giannis late scratch hurt me quite a bit. All just not awesome. All not awesome. Great showing out of LaMelo. Didn't see the Jeremy Lamb stock game coming. That was less than fun. But what are you gonna do? That's how this works. That's DFS for you. Rise and grind, everybody. It's about that time to get it started. So good morning to everybody. Hit that like button as you walk in the door, digitally walk in the door, whatever you want to call it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. What else do I got to touch on before we get started? What can I hit on? What do I want to make sure we talk about before we get started? Promos. What's today? The 7th. Starting 9. If you want to sign up for our MLB package, you can get 9 days of Awesemo Plus MLB for just $9 using the promo code STARTING9, STARTING, and the number 9. Or you can get BOGO, buy 1 month, get 1 month free of our Awesemo Golf package using the promo code Dustin. So that'll be 2 months for $29.95. You can do that. And then shout out to Monkey Knife Fight for being the presenting sponsor of this show. Sponsor logo will be on the screen in a couple seconds, but you can use the promo code Awesemo and get a 100% instant match deposit bonus up to $50. Free money or cheaper money, clear across the board. Alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into this bad boy. Bam. We have morphed into a different screen. And talk a little bit about this slate. But first, before we do anything, coffees. Cheers, everybody. Get your coffee, your beer, your joints, your bongs, whatever you want to use. Morning ciggies, although we don't advocate cigarette smoking any longer. That's bad for you. But I will advocate for this drug, which is coffee, the only drug that gets me through my morning. Cheers. And you guys, your adoration is my drug. There it is, everybody. Let's kick it off. Atlanta Hawks hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. No, it is not black coffee, T-Rex. But there is also not cream. So I use a cacao superfood creamer. It's made out of like algae or some shit. I've got MCT oil in it that can be stirred in, and then just a very, very small amount of sweetener. But yeah, so it's not black coffee, but it's not like proper cream either. I'm a weird one. Anyway, no DeAndre Hunter, no John Collins, no Cam Reddish. Yeah, Miles, the Turner one hurt. I was just looking at it actually right before we started. It's probably still highlighted. No, it's not. Where's he hiding down here? Turner. There it is. Yeah, so 23.8 fantasy points in 20 minutes, 1.18. You know, if he just keeps up the 1.18, plays 32 minutes like I expected, gets to 37.5, and you feel pretty good. And, you know, you expect it to go up slightly towards the end. It's kind of a bummer. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Injuries happen. Didn't help that I had 50% of my center position locked into that injury for late swapping to someone like Nikola Jokic. And what are you going to do, though? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. That should be good. All right, back to Atlanta. So Chris Dunn, questionable. I'm certainly not projecting Chris Dunn to play a basketball game until he actually plays a basketball game. But we will just assume that this Atlanta rotation looks exactly like it did in their previous one, which would be yesterday. And we got a little bit less minutes out of Clint Capella than I was expecting. What was that game actually look like? So Okongwu did play a little bit more of a closing rotation than you would expect. So you have to assume Capella was closing and getting that extra 3.5 minutes. So I think all of these rates look good. Only thing is, do we need to tweak any other minutes? Limited minutes for Gallo. More minutes went to Solomon Hill. Any particular reason for that one? Nope. Just didn't have an opportunity to close. So I think in the grand scheme of all of this, I am happy. Although Kevin Huerter for 30 minutes probably doesn't need to happen. So I'll give one more to Solomon Hill. Rates will all be the same, so we can put Atlanta to bed now. Take a look quickly. And just first thought process, not too much here to really enjoy. It's going to be a little bit of Trae Young, maybe a little bit of Clint Capella. Now, Clint Capella, wow. So Clint Capella is $10,400 on FanDuel and $8,700 on DraftKings. He is $1,700 cheaper than he is. He's $1,700 cheaper on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. Clint Capella looks really good as a center on DK and really, really not as good as a center on FanDuel. Theodore Parson, did McConnell kill me too? I was basically neutral to the field on McConnell. Nothing you could do on that one. Wasn't very good. Played the minutes I expected him to play. That's just the roll of the dice that happens. All right, Boston Celtics on the back-to-back. Lost to Philly last night. What do we know? No Kemba Walker. No Evan Fournier. Q tag on Tristan Thompson. And it's looking, I believe, like he is going to be back, which I don't really think is going to matter all that much. So we take minutes that would have gone to Luke Cornett or some other stinky center, but Luke Cornett in this case, and give them directly to Tristan Thompson. But I actually think that I can do even more than that. Yeah, Marcus Smart did underperform. Jerry, I had Justin Holiday, I believe, in my second best lineup on FanDuel. Let me double check it now because I didn't look at it once I woke up. But I had him in a lineup that legitimately broke my heart. Maybe it was my top. Oh, nope, that lineup fell a little bit. Never mind. Ah, there it is. Yeah. Trae Young, Flynn, Levine, Bembry, Jimmy Butler, Siakam, Markkanen, who started off really hot, and then Vooch, but I had the Justin Holiday 6. So even just turning that into 26 takes me to 54. Still a top percent. It would be in the top 100. All right, let's get Kemba Walker out of this game. And then let's try to figure out who is actually going to be in this rotation today for the Boston Celtics. Not having what's his nuts, Fournier. It's a bummer. Would have been a good time to see him shine. All right, so Time Lord getting 28 minutes, I'm cool with. 20 minutes for Tristan Thompson, I'm cool with. We'll give... Let's just delete everybody else's minutes to try to figure this out. We got Brown, Tatum, Smart, all that good stuff. Romeo Langford. We're going to go ahead and assume that you're getting some minutes here. I mean, nobody has been playing like legitimate minutes, so I'm really curious to see who takes this big jump. Last time Kemba sat, they didn't have Fournier, which makes sense. They didn't have Tice, which is perfect. And we saw Grant Williams play 25 minutes. Peyton Pritchard played 23. So, do we think Grant Williams plays that many minutes again? Feels like no, but we'll give him 24. And then we'll give him 24. So Peyton Pritchard gets, what, 20 minutes here? Who else needs minutes? Semi? Is Semi just going to be back in the rotation? I think we can give 12 to maybe Aaron Nesmith. Nah. Maybe? Yeah, I think that's it's not going to matter. We're only playing the top 4 guys here. We do need to grab new rates because, as we know, the Boston guys take a little bit of a jump when Kemba Walker's off the floor. How can I get these spreadsheets from me? You cannot. They would be useless to you if it helps. This is tied to other things. This is mostly just a front end for information. What you see looks awesome. Like that, I make sure that it is visually appealing, but a lot more of this exists outside of the Excel workbook. So Jaylen Brown with no Kemba Walker on the floor, and I guess we'll take Tice off too. All right, so Jaylen Brown usage rate with no Kemba on the floor this year. Although I wonder if I should be pulling off Teague too. Let's see, because I think that could make a difference. All right, there we go. 284 minutes. Jaylen Brown, 35% usage rate with no Kemba Walker on the floor. That's a biggie. We're obviously not going all the way to that mark, but 1.2 fantasy points per minute. So Jaylen Brown, we'll say 33. Jason Tatum's been at 34, so I'm going to say 33 for both of these guys. Jaylen Brown sees a little bit of an assist bump. Jason Tatum sees no assist bump. Marcus Smart, 18.8% usage, 7% assist rate. So he's basically the same guy. Robert Williams, I can't imagine is any different. So I'm just going to maintain his rates. And then finally, Tristan Thompson, not like this one matters either, because we're not really expecting any offense other than the 2 main guys. So for Boston today, and in case I didn't say it, Boston is home against the New York Knicks, 3.5-point favorites. Jaylen Brown, 7,700 on FanDuel, and 7,800 is for sure the best option coming from Boston. Jason Tatum a close second, but that price tag differential is pretty massive. I do have Tatum as a slightly better play, like from a per minute standpoint, but that price discount, that's the big piece here. Price is everything. So you're going to Jaylen Brown first, Jason Tatum second, and then I would say that Robert Williams and Marcus Smart look super similar. Jerry, no. If the Celtics makes the playoffs, Kemba would play every day. But you don't really play a ton of back-to-backs. But no, Kemba's not sitting out in the playoffs. All right, on to Brooklyn, which I think we're getting James Harden back, or not James Harden, Kevin Durant back today. Kevin Durant, probable. No James Harden, no Landry Shamet, no Tyler Johnson. Have we seen anything on how many minutes we would be expecting for one Kevin Durant? Either way, I'm just excited to project this dude in. So let's scratch this entire Brooklyn rotation because it's going to be a little bit more fun to do it that way. We're going to go ahead and flip this to Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving, 36 minutes. We're going to get the center minutes straightened out. So LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, playing something in the neighborhood of 28. Ooh, two Texas boys here. I wonder if Aldridge and Durant are tight. Never really thought about that. All right, so 28 minutes there for Aldridge. We're not seeing DeAndre Jordan in the lineup any longer. Aldridge and Nick Claxton are playing a decent chunk of these minutes. So I'm going to give Nick Claxton 12. And then since we should have Blake for this one, I'm going to say Blake is the nominal backup center. We need to give Durant. How many minutes is Durant going to play? I'm going to give him 28 minutes. So is Jeff Green going to play the 3 now? Is that what we should be assuming? Yeah, that Giannis getting late scratch was not fun. So once Jamal Murray got out, I moved some stuff around and ended up with a lot more Giannis because it was just how it was working out for me. I didn't have any other real spots, and I couldn't get to more Jokic at the time because of Turner, which was obviously also not awesome. So then when he got scratched, I just really didn't have many places to put it. All right, so Jeff Green doesn't play the 3. So we really need to have a conversation here about what happens to this rotation. Because obviously LaMarcus Aldridge can only play the 4 or the 5. Blake Griffin can only play the 4 or the 5. Kevin Durant, in theory, should only be playing the 4 or the 5. Nick Claxton can only really play the 4 or the 5. That right there is a lot of minutes. So in theory, Jeff Green is someone's either going to not be playing minutes in that group that I just mentioned, or Jeff Green is going to play the 3, a position that he has not exactly been in a while. So we'll see where that actually ends up. But it doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. Joe Harris is just going to continue to play his normal run. I think 33 minutes seems about right for him. Which leaves us 57 minutes to get split between Bruce Brown, TLC, and that's it, really. Hio's has been playing the last couple games. I think we might see that continue. So then, we just split between Bruce Brown and TLC. I'm going to give 22 here, 23 here. We'll be done. Jared, man, that's awesome. Crispy. Not too much going on right now. Just hanging out. All right, 19 and a half, 16, 16, 17. I think we're probably pretty good there. Brooklyn rates, because this is going to be interesting. I don't know what Durant's price is. Okay, so Kyrie is 10-4 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DraftKings. Looks like the best option coming out of Brooklyn. LaMarcus Aldridge is a close second, 5,800 on FanDuel, 5,600 on DK. And then we see Durant, 8,800 on FanDuel and 9,200 on DK. Not really playable. Nets are taking on the Pels, 10.5 point favorites. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to beat Durant into the ground here. So Kyrie looks solid. Probably not going to be a guy I get to a lot, though. boom bust tool can sort by slate. I think the boom bust tool is, well, in terms of the optimal lineups, it's going to only be for the main slate, but the boom and bust portion of the boom bust tool is slate independent. It's only based on salary. Which I guess could be different. I don't think we have it for non-main slates. All right, on to the Charlotte Hornets. And since we're just past that first 15-minute mark, 102 viewers, 65 likes. I don't even have much to add. You guys are doing great. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. It helps me out a ton. All right, on to the Hornets. We know no Gordon Hayward, no Malik Monk, no LaMelo Ball. I have to start this rotation from scratch. Is Durant in play if he doesn't have any minutes restrictions? Yes, but I would not expect him to not have minutes restrictions. So one of the 5 best players on the planet is coming back after being out for like 2 months. He's not playing 36 minutes against the Pelicans as 10-point favorites today. I'll bet my life on it. All right, so for Charlotte, we know sort of how to start building this. Bismack Biyombo should be good for like 20 minutes. Cody Zeller should be good for 20 minutes. We'll get 8 minutes of PJ Washington at the center. Devontae Graham is playing way less minutes than I would have expected, but I think we have to assume that 30 is sort of where we end up, which then allows us to go 36 to Terry Rozier. And then everything starts to look gross. So Brad Wanamaker gets about 18 minutes. That's a thing. 4. So Miles Bridges, 32 minutes for Miles Bridges. What else we got? Jalen McDaniels played 17 minutes now that Gordon Hayward is out. I think that might actually be a thing that continues to happen. I gave Cody Martin Cody Zeller's minutes, but that's fine. So now we have the 2 Martin brothers left for the rotation. Cody definitely more likely to play than Caleb, I think. I think this is going to work right there. Dennis, good morning. Happy to have you here, man. Got 26 for Miles, or is someone out that you're missing? Gordon Hayward is out. Malik Monk is out. LaMelo Ball is out. I mean, they're missing over 100 minutes of their normal starting lineup. Gonna have to check out rates now, too, for this Hornets team. And I need to start chugging this coffee so I can wake up. All right. Hayward, off. Ball, off. Monk, off. Oh, come on. Caleb over Cody must be the superior player, surely. I get it. Shout out to Caleb Arthur for the super chat, wanting, advocating more for Caleb Martin over Cody. I wonder why. I wonder why. All right, Devontae Graham in 107 minutes, 22% usage. I think that's fine. So what we do want to do is put in Terry Rozier's usage. Terry Rozier in 100 minutes with those guys off the floor has a 33% usage rate. Now, I don't think that Terry Rozier is going to use 33% of the possessions today, but I think 30 is a very realistic number for Scary Terry. Don't really have to change any other rates. And at that moment, I think that might bring Devontae Graham down to where I'd like him to be. Miles Bridges gets to 20, which I think is a little bit higher than I would want. but I will give him 18. PJ Washington gets to 19. I think the rest of those rates will actually hash themselves out, which is kind of nice. Assist rate for Devontae Graham, does it change? It gets to 11. It certainly does. Everyone else should be pretty much fine. So let's see where we're at with Charlotte. The Hornets are on the road, 4.5-point favorites taking on Oklahoma City. This could look pretty interesting. Theodore, I can't imagine we have any interest in turning it into an app. That seems like it would be a really expensive endeavor. I mean, down the line, maybe, who knows? But I know it doesn't, as far as I know, that is not something in the cards. Terry Rozier, 7,400 on FanDuel, to me, the clear best option coming out of the Hornets. I've got Rozier at 1.11 FanDuel points per minute. He has been at 1.14 with these guys off the floor, so I think that's pretty close. PJ Washington for 5,200 looks better on FanDuel. Devontae Graham looks okay. Miles Bridges looks okay. I thought I would see a little bit more value there, but it's definitely Terry Rozier as the main piece. On to the Dallas Mavericks. Tooch says, I'm a single entry 3 max guy. If I listen to the show and the deeper dive and live before lock, depending on who's hosting, does paying for Awesemo still make sense to me? I am not the person that should tell you how to spend your money. I don't know how much additional money you have. I don't know what life is like for you in that regard, because I think that question is weighted a little bit. I don't know how much you play. All of those decisions, all those factors are important. What I can tell you is that the information that we have will save you time. It should make your process more efficient. And I believe that it is the best information in the industry because it is coming from the #1 player in the world. I use it. It helps me out a ton. For the NBA, I've had my model for so long that this is just something that I like to do. But for other sports, I rely solely on our data. And I would have no problem relying solely on our NBA data if I wasn't such a gigantic NBA fan myself. I would be doing this one way or the other, whether I had the process show or not. My recommendation for you, though, Tooch, honestly, try to catch one of our promos and see what you see behind the paywall. Like, we've got one running for baseball and golf right now. I don't know if those are sports you play. I would recommend checking out the baseball one. $9 for 9 days. You could at least take a little peek at it. But keep your eyes peeled if you can get in the door for a discounted rate at some point in time, and give it a check. Look, we have weekly packages. You can try out one of our weekly packages right now. You cancel the moment you do it if you want. You won't get charged again. You won't have to worry about it, and you can get an idea of if it helps you or not. You don't have to like sign up for a year and cost yourself $1,000. You can get out in a week if it's not your cup of tea, and it's not going to be your cup of tea sometimes. That's fine. I think that it is going to be helpful to most people, but everybody's going to be at least a little bit different. I would recommend it if you have the sort of free income that's not going to be an issue. I would recommend trying out a week. No harm in that one. But don't put yourself in a position that, financially doesn't make sense for you. Q tag on Maxey, Q tag on Porzingis, Q tag on Trey Burke. And we're at 7 o'clock. Look, 106 viewers, 80 likes. I know when we were first starting this off, we were talking about trying to get to 100 likes by 7 o'clock. But, I mean, you guys have like 70-something% of the viewership. So I'm not mad at all. This is great. All right, well, we got to put Porzingis back in, so I'm just going to start this Dallas rotation back from scratch. No idea if these guys are playing. Let's take a look. Did anybody practice? Okay. Porzingis is expected to play. Maxey. Okay, I think we're going to be good seeing these guys. I'm anticipating everybody here playing, so we'll start with Porzingis, 32 minutes at the center spot, done. Dwight Powell backing him up. Last time Porzingis played, Dwight Powell played almost the backup run. So we'll go 14, which will allow me to go 32 to Maxey, which works perfectly. We'll give Jalen Brunson his typical minutes that I don't understand. I'll say 26. I will assume Trey Burke plays his normal 8. Let's see, who else do we need to give minutes here? So nobody else at the 1, right? Man, they ran an 8-man rotation that last time out. Carlisle, you're wild, buddy. You're wild. I guess we're just going to call Luka the point guard here. So that's 14 plus 20. And then we can give Jay Rich his 30 minutes probably, right? Yeah, 30 minutes for Jay Rich. And like a typical 26 for Tim Hardaway. So that leaves me 38 minutes for who? Nicola Melli, Dorian Finney-Smith. Obviously, I'm going to assume that most of those are going to Dorian Finney-Smith. 6 minutes to Melli, and we're done. Rates should all basically be the same. Luka, not somebody that sees a huge rate bump when Kristaps Porzingis is actually off the floor. Kind of wild. So I think we're pretty spot on. For Dallas Mavericks taking on the Houston Rockets, 11.5-point favorites in Houston. And no surprise here, really liking Luka Doncic. Probably my favorite pay-up option, at least as of right now. 10-3 on FanDuel. I like that price tag. 10-9 on DraftKings. Don't mind that one at all. You can get to Porzingis for 8,400 and 8,600. Not really going to be filling out too much with the rest of Dallas. All right, on to the Denver Nuggets. Denver at home against the San Antonio Spurs. What do we know about the Nugs? Q tag on Murray, didn't play last night. Going to assume that he plays today. I was assuming yesterday that he was going to play, so I think it's pretty safe to pop him right back in. So JaMychal Green's minutes can stay. Everybody's minutes can sort of stay, except I want to take a little bit away from PJ Dozier, Monty Morris, and Campazzo. Everybody else's minutes should be okay. So we give Murray 34. We give Campazzo the backup run. We give Monty Morris some 20. Is 20 right for Monty Morris? Yeah, that's fine. Wow, he started and played 23 minutes last night. What a kick in the junk. And then 10 minutes for PJ Dozier is sort of the best that we can hope for. I don't know who else is going to take that discount. I guess it could be. I mean, he did. So rates need to be brought back down a bit. For literally everybody. Get Jamal Murray back in there. Let's see what we got for Denver. Jeremy, I just play basically a 150 max every night. I don't try to mess around too much. I don't like this is just leisure for me. So I probably don't pay nearly as much attention as I should to contest selection. I just jam into the whatever's like the $3 to $6 150 max on FanDuel, and that's it. Maybe the 25 max, the $2 too, just because it's a contest that I really like. But I don't pay close attention to it. I'm just grinding, trying to hit 100K or 50K. This is all just fun to me. So for Denver, Nikola Jokic 10-2 on FanDuel, 10-6 on DraftKings. I think I prefer Luka as a pay-up option. Michael Porter Jr. at 7,200 has some appeal. 7,100 on DK. Jamal Murray could be okay. Aaron Gordon could be okay. It's not really that great of a matchup, but Jokic seems fine. My opinion is that you can play anything to build a bankroll, Jared, as long as you know that where your edge is. There's no right or wrong way to build a bankroll. A lot of it depends on your tolerance of variance. Houston Rockets taking on that Dallas Mavericks team. Who do we know is out? I'm assuming John Wall still out. Q tag on Wall. Cool. Make it more complicated. No House, no Gordon, Avery Bradley probable, Nawaba still injured. All right, well, if we're putting John Wall back out here, gonna need to gut that rotation. This is not a fun slate so far. So Wall has been out for 4 games. I'm gonna assume that he is just simply back. We'll give him 30 minutes. We'll give DJ Augustine the backup point guard run. Kevin Porter Jr. can go back to playing, something in the 30-minute range. Christian Wood, 32 minutes. I'm going to just assume that Kelly Olynyk is the backup center still and then plays a bunch of minutes alongside. Who's going to play the 4? DJ Wilson probably still going to get some time. Jayshawn Tate clearly going to still play 30 minutes. So who are we missing? Avery Bradley can have those 18 minutes. He's been playing a bundle as of late. Will he? Yeah, I mean, he might play a little bit more than that. So let's give him 22. God, I still got to give Sterling Brown minutes. So we'll give Sterling Brown 22, and that leaves me... Who am I missing? Oh, yeah, Kenyon Martin and DJ Wilson. God, this Houston team is really sad. It's really just not at all a fun team to deal with. They're just not good. All right, so for Houston, taking on this Dallas team, Christian Wood, 7,700 on FanDuel looks pretty good. 8,600 on DraftKings looks a bit less so. And it's really hard to prioritize. Like, these Houston guys the prices are up because John Wall was out. So Olynyk's already priced up. Kevin Porter is in the 6s or the 7s on DraftKings. There's not a lot to like here from Houston. Tough slate so far, as we're through, close to half the teams. Indiana Pacers. This should be really difficult. I assume it's just a lot of questionable tags. Yeah, so Miles Turner going to be out for a couple days. That's a kick in the junk. Not expecting to see Domantas Sabonis either tonight. So fire up your Goga Batadzes. Although maybe Sabonis is available. Although it seems like they were just out pretty early starting yesterday. I think, though, we might have to assume that Sabonis is in for right now. I don't think we really have a way around it. Because there's not going to be an injury designation. They played last night. What time is this game? All right, so this game is still in Indiana. So we will have this news. So I'm going to put Sabonis and Brogdon in the game. As of right now, they are 3.5-point favorites against Minnesota, which does lead me to believe that Domantas Sabonis is not going to be on the floor, and potentially Malcolm Brogdon, because Minnesota sucks. Jeremy, I use the same settings I always use. Yeah, I think man. That betting line makes me think that nobody's going to be there. But I think we have to project them in right now. So 32 to Brogdon, 16 to McConnell, 8 more to McConnell. Domantas Sabonis, Goga Bachadze. Should have Jeremy Lamb again. 32 minutes to Karis LeVert. Actually, that's probably going to have to be 33 minutes to Karis LeVert, isn't it? He's been playing more as of late. Yeah, that's got to be 33 minutes to Karis LeVert. We'll get 18 to Jeremy Lamb. 14 to Sumner. I truly don't understand this team. All right, 28 to Justin Holiday. Let's hope he doesn't kill me again today. McBuckets will likely play a little bit more minutes. So we'll give him 28 and leave 15 for Jakar Sampson. Let's go 8 and 7. Won't matter. And then we're going to have to make a change to every one of these Indiana rates since we have everybody back on the floor. Although, actually, it's mostly just going to be putting everybody back to neutral. So 26 to Karis LeVert. Actually, it's probably going to be lower than that. 25 to Karis LeVert. 24 to Sabonis. There we go. Rates are in. So for Indiana, if everybody is in, everybody except for Turner. Turner is legitimately not playing. Sabonis and Brogdon look like the best options. 9K for Sabonis on FanDuel, 8,900 on DraftKings, 6,700 for Brogdon on FanDuel, 68 on DraftKings. I think both of those spots look decent. Karis LeVert for 7,100 on DraftKings looks infinitely better than Karis LeVert for 8,500 on FanDuel. Can't really play Karis LeVert on FanDuel, but DraftKings, he's available. McBuckets looks like an okay value option. Not too much here for Indiana. Look, you want to pay close attention to... We could have a ton of value come out of Indiana based on news. And I'm on live before lock tonight, so I could give you that news. All right, on to the Memphis Grizzlies, which I assume we're still dealing with some of their side dudes. Q tag on Morant. Q tag on Brandon Clark, Justice Winslow, DeAnthony Melton. Okay, that's fun. So what happened to Morant last night? Not ideal. I feel like we're not going to be seeing John Morant. What's the line on this game right now? Memphis 2-point dogs in Atlanta. So that has to assume that John Morant is playing. Has to assume really that all of these guys are playing. Whether or not that actually happens, I have no idea. But coming off the back-to-back, we don't really have any way to assume otherwise. So I'm going to just go with the fact that everybody would be in. I think that's really the only way that we can do this. Outside of Justice Winslow, that is. Who's on live before lock with me tonight? I think Greg. It should be Greg. 28 minutes there for Joval. We'll do 20 for Tillman. 24 for Brandon Clark. 28 for Kyle Anderson. Yeah, I think we just have to assume that everybody is in for Memphis until we know that they are not in for Memphis. Really the only way to do this sort of stuff. 30 minutes for Dylan Brooks. 26 minutes for Grayson Allen. 22 minutes for Desmond Bane. And then, I don't know, 14 for Melton. Not like it matters. Do I play any best ball, John? No, I don't. I could tell you. I'm like 99% sure that it's Greg. But just to confirm. Wednesday, live before lock. Yep, it is Greg. I can't imagine that we're going to be looking at this with any sort of interest in anybody from Memphis until we know people are out. But they are playing the Hawks, so who knows? And as I suspected, this does not look good. Joval, Ja, Brooks, Kyle Anderson. You can play guys that start, but Memphis is not a priority on tonight's slate. And we are over 100 likes with 130 viewers. You guys are the absolute best people in the world. Love it. Love it. All right, moving on to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who got D'Angelo Russell back their last time out. No Jalen Noel, no Malik Beasley. Everybody else is available. And this should be mostly easy to figure out. Yeah, John Musto, this slate is not great. At least not so far. We'll see what we hit on the second half. All right, 36 minutes for Edwards is fine. 36 minutes for Towns is fine. We know what we're getting out of Naz Reid. Ricky Rubio played 26 minutes in his return. That looks good. Jordan McLaughlin looks fine. I gave Russell 20 minutes. He played 24 the first time out. So we have to assume that Russell's minutes go up. So let's take these minutes away from Jaden McDaniels, Jake Layman, Juancho, Josh Okogie. I'm going to assume that D'Angelo Russell's playing something in the neighborhood of 28 minutes today. And then Josh Okogie playing 24. Jaden McDaniels, I see no reason that he wouldn't be getting back to like his 30-minute a game run. So that leaves me an additional 20 minutes. I don't know how much it matters who gets these minutes. So I'm going to give 8 to Jake Layman and 12 to Juancho and just cross my fingers. Actually, I'm going to give more minutes to Juancho. I'm going to give him 18 with 2 spillovers. All of these rates should be fine. God, this team, I don't even want to see it. All right, so for Minnesota, we know they're taking on Indiana. This actually might look okay. Karl Anthony Towns is 11,400 on FanDuel and 10-7 on DraftKings. It's just going to be hard to get to Karl Anthony Towns over some of these other centers today. Looks a little bit better on DK. Edwards is probably the second best option coming out of Minnesota. And then $6,400 D'Angelo Russell. You have to look at him. I've got him at 1.13 fantasy points per minute for this spot. And he looks okay. Maybe a little bit of McDaniels as value. But again, nobody coming out of these games that's just standing out as the unquestioned play for today. Now we move on to the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans are on the road against Brooklyn. You would think this would look decent. Alex, good morning. First time being here live. Happy to have you. It's exciting to see. I'm guessing we're getting a lot of Q tags on the Pelicans again. So Q tag on Ingram. Probably not going to see Kira Lewis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Jackson Hayes, questionable. I don't think that'll matter all that much. So we're going to go ahead and give Steven Adams 30 minutes and Jackson Hayes the backup center minutes. We're going to give Lonzo Ball his 34 minutes, I guess. Backup point guard minutes are going to go to Eric. Actually, they're going to go to Isaiah Thomas. I think they have to. Eric Bledsoe is going to play 34 minutes. Zion's going to play 34 minutes. Brandon Ingram's going to play 34 minutes if he plays. And then the rest of this just hashes itself out. 14 goes to James Johnson. Who am I missing? 14 to Najee Marshall. And then, what, Wes Iwundu? 14? I think that's fine. That's a 10-man rotation right there. Get these new rates in with everybody back. And if we go ahead and look at the Pels, since they are taking on Brooklyn, this is a fast-paced game. Doesn't matter. Zion, 9,700 and 9K. You're more likely to play him on DraftKings, but he doesn't look all that great. Brandon Ingram is 8K and 8,300 coming back off of injury. I can't really recommend all that much from the New Orleans Pelicans today, guys. This is very, very tightly packed together so far. We got 7 teams to go. We're moving to the Knicks. I unless somebody's out, I can't imagine we're going to be finding all that much value coming out of New York. Looks like everybody is healthy. The only thing we don't have is Mitchell Robinson. We might not even have to make too many rotational moves. John, I put KD in for 28 minutes. I don't really have a ton of confidence in that, but I don't expect him to play a full run. All right, Randall, 38 minutes, 37 minutes. That seems fine. Nerlens Noel and Taj are still basically splitting the center minutes. And in that case, I don't feel all that confident in it. Derrick Rose, I have it 26 minutes. I'm going to make that 25 so he stops popping up. But I think that this is pretty much good for the Knicks, at which point I don't get the sense we're going to be recommending Knicks. The only benefit for the Knicks is that they take on Boston, but it's a 214 total. This is terrible. Yeah, look at all that red. Randall and Barrett, that's it. Maybe a little Derrick Rose on DraftKings as a potential value option, but this is another team that we're just putting to bed as not all that great. We are not seeing anybody show up as a great value. It's possible that changes right now with the Oklahoma City Thunder. No Shea, no Dort, no Baisley, no Roby, no Hall, no Muscala. Kenrich Williams is in. He was dreadful last time out. So we know that Oklahoma City has 10 guys. We know that they are the 10 guys that I have projected in. So the question then becomes, what happens to their actual rotation? So let's think this through. Moses Brown played 26 minutes. Tony Bradley played 22. I think 27 and 21 is a good split. 32 minutes for Maladon. I'm going to go 31 here with Justin Robinson playing 17. Justin Robinson played significantly more than that, and they did play alongside each other a little bit. So someone is not going to play nearly as much as I thought they did, and that appears to be Darius Miller. We'll get there. Kenrich Williams. Oh, yeah, Kenrich Williams left that game a little early. I think Svi for 30 minutes seems right. 16 minutes to Ty Jerome does not feel right. It also feels like a mistake from the last time, which I didn't realize. Or was he out? I can't remember. I got to get Ty Jerome more minutes, probably at the expense of Kenrich Williams, at least a little bit. So that gets Ty Jerome to 24. Jalen Horde played 22 minutes. I don't think that he is long for those minutes, however. So I think that's going to have to be pretty much good. And at which point, we don't really have to change any rates. So what do we see for Oklahoma City? Again, Oklahoma City Thunder are 4.5-point dogs at home against Charlotte. And if we're really looking at any of these guys, $6,200 Moses Brown on FanDuel is my favorite play coming from Oklahoma City. Pogaszewski for $5,600 on DK would be my favorite DraftKings Thunder option. But this is going to be a lot of filler. Moses Brown, Pogaszewski, Svi still $3,800 on FanDuel, where he's $5,500 on DK. So you got to play Svi again as a value option on FanDuel. Teo Maladon looks okay. I think you can still get to Kenrich Williams, even though you shouldn't want to. Ty Jerome is a viable value play. I mean, we're talking about being able to play 6 different guys really from Oklahoma City. 7 if you want to count Tony Bradley on DraftKings at 4K. Nothing truly standout, although Moses Brown for 6,200 on FanDuel is at least a little appealing. I think that seems best. I wouldn't be looking to play all that much Svi on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, where he's 3,800, he will be a pretty popular value option. All right, we've got 5 teams to go, and we're on to Orlando, and I'm pretty sure that this one is going to be a mess. Q tag on Cole Anthony, Q tag on Michael Carter Williams, Q tag on Khem Birch. This should be a blast. All right, so on Anthony, what do we know? Went through a non-contact practice. I have a sneaky suspicion that he is not going to play. However, clearly we're projecting him in. We don't have a choice. Chance he plays tomorrow. Interesting. Okay. MCW should be fine. Khem Birch. Yeah, I think we're going to be assuming everybody plays here. And in that case, let's start projecting Orlando. So Cole Anthony, I can't imagine is playing just like a ton of minutes as he comes back. So we're going to give him 24. We'll give Michael Carter Williams the other 24. And I think I'll give him an extra 4 minutes. The center spot, I think, is just going to be largely manned by Wendell Carter Jr., as it should. He should play, honestly, more than... I mean, he's played 34, 34, 31 the last 3. Obviously, 2 of those were without Khem Birch, but at the same time, he should just be playing a ton at center. So if we have any extra minutes in a bit, we'll think about bumping him up. We'll give Khem Birch the backup center run. We'll give Terrence Ross 28 minutes. All right, who's playing the 4 now for this crazy team? We'll say RJ Hampton is going to be getting... Man, this is a tricky team now that everybody's going to be back. So MCW is going to probably move back to the 2 a little bit more if we're getting Chase and Randall as well. So now we have just minutes at the 3, minutes at the 4. Dwayne Bacon, Chuma Okeke, 28-20. Can we do what? 28 for James Ennis, 20 for Bacon. So that's not enough minutes for Bacon, but who do I need to take minutes from? RJ Hampton, probably at least a little bit. I think that's going to be okay. Orlando, obviously, quite tricky. Let's see if we see anything standing out for this Magic team, because they do have enough bodies now. They are 3.5-point dogs at home against the Wizards, which is clearly the best team that you can face. Yeah, so Wendell Carter Jr. for 6K on DraftKings looks pretty good. I can't truly complain all that much about that projection. I don't really have much interest in this Orlando team on FanDuel. The guys are either priced up or not very good. So I think Wendell Carter Jr. on DK is really the only piece from the Magic that you should prioritize. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where else really we would want minutes to go. Maybe I'll get Okeke 2 more minutes, but even still, I don't think that changes anything. It's mostly just Wendell Carter. Wow. What a waste of a matchup. Phoenix Suns. 149 viewers, 98 likes. The likes went down. You guys were over 100 and then it went back down. You guys took likes away. That is heartbreaking, guys. If for the 150 that are here right now, if you could push that number back up over 100, that stings, man. That hurts my pride. That really hurts my pride. There we go. Back over 100. Appreciate you guys. All right, on to the Phoenix Suns taking on Utah. Unless somebody's out, I can't imagine we like this. I mean, Phoenix and Utah is like one of my least favorite potential fantasy games. I want to watch this game. Like, I think this is as good as it gets in the NBA. I mean, we're talking about what, number 1 and number 2 in the West right now. What a great game to see, but this is kind of gross from a DFS perspective. There's like no chance that any of this looks good. All the minutes seem fine to me. I don't really see a direction else that I would want to go. So for Phoenix against Utah, yeah, no real recommendation. I mean, all of these numbers are terrible. And again, when I say that I don't like anything from Phoenix, if you see Chris Paul or Ayton or Booker or Bridges show up in your lineup, like these guys aren't bad last men in. But if I'm talking about guys that I think that you should be like heavily exposed to, there is no one on Phoenix that you should be heavily exposed to in a matchup against Utah. That's a really great game, though. Everyone should watch it. San Antonio Spurs. We got the Q tag on Murray. Ended up missing this last one. We know Lonnie Walker is out. We know that's really all that matters. I mean, the guess has to be here that DeJounte Murray is playing. That absence came sort of out of nowhere. So we're going to give him 34 minutes against Denver. We're going to give Jakob Poeltl 32 minutes at center. Gorgie Jang coming back in, playing 12 minutes. We'll give Drew Eubanks 8. We'll give Drew Eubanks 4 because I'm bad at math. We'll say that Derek White is going to continue to play, 32 minutes. Patty Mills gets 26 minutes. Devin Vassell gets 14. Keldon Johnson plays his traditional 28. Rudy Gay plays 24. And then DeMar plays 34. I mean, the Spurs are like as easy as this gets. Other than the fact that I need to fix all of these rates for DeJounte Murray being out, which is an easy fix. And I don't think that we're going to be liking all that many Spurs against the Denver Nuggets. And we don't. Look, again, like there's no green here. So we don't talk about it all that much, but I do just look as a quick eyeball test, my boom percentage divided by salary times 1,000. So I just like to see this number be greater than 1%. We don't have that. Like this is just, it's a mess. So, if you want to play DeJounte Murray if he's in, or DeMar DeRozan or Derek White, like that is what you should be doing as filler, but no priorities once again. If DeJounte Murray happens to be out, I am going to be playing an absolutely massive amount of DeMar DeRozan again. I did last time. It did not go well, but he sees massive rate bumps when DeJounte Murray is out. So DeRozan will be one of my favorite plays if we lose DeJounte Murray today. 2 games to go. 2 teams to go. One is Utah. One is Washington. Washington should look okay. Utah, I'm certain, will not, unless like Mike Conley's not playing or something. Nope. Everybody's just in for Utah. So other than just trying to hash out if any of these minutes are incorrect, this is going to be pretty cut and dry. 34 minutes for Mitchell. 30 minutes for Mike Conley. Give him 1 extra minute. That feels reasonable. Take one of those minutes away from George Niang, I guess. 32. Yeah, like this is, we know what we're getting here. Maybe I take another minute away from and give one to Boyan. That should help. But for the Jazz, taking on Phoenix, we know it's a slow matchup. So at least we get Rudy Gobert on FanDuel. 8,100. He's been playing really well lately. 1.43 fantasy points per minute. I have him less than that because of the matchup, but, looks okay. Donovan Mitchell looks okay. Like these guys are, 15 percenters on a slate like today. But again, no just knockdown, drag out core options. And then finally, we close it out with the Washington Wizards, and then we can get into some optimal lineups. Still the questionable tag on Beal, Q tag on Rui, Q tag on Robin Lopez, which is very interesting for this team today. So for Beal, We have no idea what's going on with Beal at this point. For Rui, I mean, at least they'll have a shoot around, so we shall see. Lopez left 9 minutes into their game on Monday with a bum quad. The only real benefit we have here is that this game locks at 7. So we will have this information no matter what. So we're just going to start it off 36 minutes straight away for Russell Westbrook. I think that is just absolutely what we end up seeing. Backup point guard run at the minimum is going to Neto. Don't think he sees too many more minutes after that. Now, we had seen Robin Lopez picking up additional run. I don't think that that is going to continue now. And if Robin Lopez ends up out, Alex Len is going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate. So I'm going to give Robin Lopez 22 minutes. I'm going to give Alex Len 20 minutes. I'll get to 6 minutes of Bertans at the 5 with another 18 to give him 24. That allows me to give Rui 34, I guess, for Rui. We'll get Beal in for his 34. We'll get Denny in for 28. And then I've got 12 minutes there, 12 minutes there. Easy, easy. Delete some of these rates. We're about to be done, everybody. Wizards in the books. And again, taking on Orlando, this could be good. Bradley Beal, if he plays, is 8,300. I feel like I say this every night, but he is in really nice play on FanDuel at 8,300. Russ, 11K and 11-1, still more than viable. And if Bradley Beal doesn't play, you know what to do. I think you can get to a little bit of Rui for 6K on FanDuel if you need to. But that right there is one of the more valueless slates we shall see. We're talking about no one separating from the pack. I mean, we barely get Jaylen Brown over 3% here on DK. No one over 3% on FanDuel. A player pool that is really only valid to like 53 guys on a 9-gamer. I mean, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel here today. Now, granted, there's a ton of news that we are waiting on. Like, this is going to open up throughout the day. But for right now, at 7:39 a.m., we do not have a lot to look at that makes you excited to play today's slate. But it's a 9-gamer, so, it should be decent. Let's take a look now at the optimal lineup for FanDuel. And the optimal lineup on FanDuel is Luka Doncic, Terry Rozier, Bradley Beal, Svi Mikhailiuk, Jaylen Brown, Joe Harris, Pogoshevsky, PJ Washington, Jonas Valanciunas. That is a very balanced build. One pay down option in Svi Mikhailiuk, one pay up option in Luka Doncic, then 74, 83, 77, 5K, 55, 52, 67. Very, very, very balanced build because there's no ability to go stars and scrubs. You can drop down 0.4 of a point if you would like and switch out Joe Harris for Kenrich Williams. That is tough to look at. So now let's take a look at power rankings. We'll see how we shake out there. This is should be pretty flat other than Svi. Yeah, Jaylen Brown on FanDuel today with Kemba out, I think is going to be very appealing. We've seen his price come down quite a bit. He's at 7,700 now. This is a guy that was, up in the 8s earlier this year and was 8,400 for like a pretty extended amount of time. So you're getting him at a little bit cheaper of a price tag. You've seen him, he got to 40 a couple games ago. We're looking for, if you can get into the mid 40s number, you're going to be pretty happy with him. And I think that looks good today. I think that looks like really good. So power rankings for FanDuel, Jaylen Brown at the top, Svi Mikhailiuk right there with him. Svi just a pay down option that you can't really avoid, and really the only one that exists on the slate so far. Terry Rozier, Bradley Beal, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Christian Wood, PJ Washington, Alex Pokusevski, Kyrie Irving, Trae Young, Malcolm Brogdon if he plays, Michael Porter Jr. We have the opportunity to get a lot more value, guys, but it doesn't exist right now. We are looking at a very, very balanced build on FanDuel. Now we can transition over to DraftKings and see if that's any different. So for DK, and this is a spot where the optimal lineup could be really, really weird. Because, like, we're not going to have the same benefit of Svi in this case. Optimal lineup on DK: Luka Doncic, D'Angelo Russell, Doug McDermott, Miles Bridges, Wendell Carter Jr., Jaylen Brown, Pokusevski, Tony Bradley. Wow. That is, like, again, we're not... Nobody below 4K. Tony Bradley is getting jammed in as a value play. We only go up to Luka Doncic, and then it's 64, 41, 5K, 6K, 78, 56, and 4K. Just really, really balanced build. You can drop down 0.4 of a point if you would like. Swap out. Let's see. Who are we swapping out here? Pokusevski and D'Angelo Russell or Naz Reid and Terry Rozier, I think. Sure. Power rankings for DraftKings, and then we're going to get out of here. So contenders videos will be out right after this. Strategy show with Laffy, as you guys are sure you know. Josh Jennings, why Jaylen Brown? Pace down and good Knicks defense. No Kemba Walker. And no Evan Fournier. Patrick, happy to have you. Better late than never. Same for you, M5D1K. Look at how flat this is. This is crazy. Doug McDermott, Jaylen Brown, Miles Bridges, Tony Bradley, all just flat in like the mid-20s, which is not like, there's no... You're not really at the top of any power rankings at that number. D'Angelo Russell, Wendell Carter Jr., Marcus Smart, Naz Reid, Maxi Kleber, Luka, Pokusevski, Brogdon, Josh Okogie, Derrick Rose. Yikes. Yikes. Just not good. That is just rugged. This is a very, very difficult slate right now. And the problem is we're going to be waiting on just an absolute ton of news. Like, we know what's happening here. Like, I'm going to work through all of the news that we are waiting on for this slate. Domantas Sabonis, we have no idea. Malcolm Brogdon, questionable. Beal, Hachimura, Robin Lopez, Cole Anthony, Kem Birch, Michael Carter Williams, Brandon Ingram, Jackson Hayes, Tristan Thompson, Kristaps Porzingis, Trey Burke, Maxi Kleber, John Wall, John Morant, Brandon Clark, DeAnthony Melton, DeJounte Murray, Jamal Murray. I mean, all of those guys are going to swing this slate in some way, whether they are in or out. Oh. Wow. Tricky today, guys. Tricky, tricky, tricky. But that's it. We done. We are done. Another process show in the books. We've got one coming up tomorrow again, one more on Friday. What's the schedule look like for the rest of the week? So we got tomorrow is a 7-game slate. Friday, we have another 9-gamer. And late lock tomorrow, 7:30 lock. So we are bumped a little bit. This is going to be a really tough slate, guys. until we get that news. And luckily, some of it, a decent chunk of it is pretty early, so we won't have to hang ourselves out to dry too much. But for right now, there's not a lot of value out there, and building balance is, I mean, I prefer it, but it just makes it a really low proposition outcome. Jeremy Hennessy says, does FC Pro randomness make it worth upgrading? Again, that like, I don't really like telling people how to spend their money. I prefer the pro randomness to the old randomness. It wouldn't change it wouldn't change a ton for me if it didn't exist. I would just go back to, running my randomness a little bit different, but I do think that it does a better job of creating a more uniform lineup distribution. If FC Pro is something you're interested in, if lineup study is something that you're interested in, then yeah, I think that you'll get some value out of going to FC Pro. But I really don't want to, I don't like recommending. I use it, I love it, and I would pay for it if I wasn't provided it. That's the best that I can tell you. Do I think it's going to be a stars and scrubs night? I mean, everything that we just looked at just smacked everyone across the face with no. But once, if Beal gets ruled out and John Wall gets ruled out and like 2 or 3 other guys end up getting ruled out, we could certainly see 1 or 2 guys get ruled out that we didn't even expect. Then we end up much more stars and scrubsy. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a fun time again, as per usual. Please hit the like button on your way out the door. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Look for the contenders videos. Look for the strategy show. Then look for me at Live Before Lock. Wednesdays are the full one, man. You get me on literally everything. So it's fun. Got the rise and grind going on. You can't beat it. That's what we're doing every single morning. We rise, we grind, and today's going to be a good one. I got to work a little bit on golf. Got to get those Masters lineups in. Going to try to win that Crypto Punk on DK. But that's it. Let's pack it in, guys. Good luck tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys again tomorrow morning.